Welcome to the podcast, Living by Oak Values. My name is Robert, and I host this podcast with my friend Gary. Join us today as we dive deep and share meaningful stories and discuss the values that help shape our lives. We are devoted to living by these values and sharing them with you. Whether you're a longtime listener or just now discovering us, welcome. Check us out at northmancoaching.com. Connect with us and get your free toolbox along with exciting updates. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Happy listening.
So today's value is family, and on the back of the card, family is described as a group of people with common characteristics or beliefs.
The value of family lies within the foundation. It provides emotional support, love, and personal growth. Family is often the first place where we experience unconditional care, learn essential life skills such as communication, empathy, and cooperation.
This episode is brought to you by Northman Coaching and their Oak Value cards. Are you looking for a little boost in motivation and self-improvement? If so, then check out our Oak Value cards and empower yourself with our motivational and insightful core value cards. Enter promo code FAMILY for 10% off of your order.
All right. And so key aspects of family include emotional support. Family members offer a safe space to share joy, challenges, fears, and help build resilience.
It also includes identity and belonging. Family provides a sense of identity, roots, fostering feelings of belongings and connection.
Also, there is guidance and growth. Family teaches values, ethics, life lessons that shapes individuals' characters and decision-making.
And next is celebration of shared tradition. Family rituals and traditions strengthen bonds and create lasting memories.
Then there's unconditional love. Healthy family relationships remind us that love doesn't always depend on circumstance, fostering trust and security.
And last but not least, we have lifelong relationships. Family relationships often last a lifetime. These long-term connections provide stability and continually offering a sense of rootedness and belonging.
And today's quote is by Michael J. Fox. Family is not an important thing. It is everything. Pretty much, family goes beyond just sharing bloodlines. It's about nurturing relationships that uplift, inspire, and sustain us through life.
And our guest today is a returning guest. It is Kevin Snow. How are we doing, Kev?
Good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. Thank you for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
So, Kev, where does family resonate with you and your sense of purpose and belonging?
It was number one. It's shaped who I am. I knew even before looking at the values that family would be number one.
And how has it shaped you?
I'm round.
You said it. You said family. It shaped you.
Shaped me.
Shaped.
Yes.
SHAPED.
Yeah, like circle.
Right. So how did it shape you?
That's a tough question. I'm not sure. Like just shaped. What by shaped? What do you mean? I mean, maybe I'm just a dumb mailman.
Okay, let's. So, how did family as a value make you who you are? Yeah.
Okay. Being adopted, I never once ever in my life, ever, not even never once, ever felt like I wasn't anything but part of my family. I never felt I was any different from my brother or sister or nobody ever treated me different. Matter of fact, it's funny when I was probably 20, 21, I was working at a deli in Coventry, and this girl who I'd known for 5 or 6 years through high school and whatnot, shit like that. She must have heard me talking to somebody else. She goes, "Oh my God, I never knew." I said, "You never knew what?" She goes, "I never knew you were adopted." And she's whispering it. I'm like, well, it's not like I introduced myself. I said, "Hi, I'm Kevin. I'm adopted." I've always felt part. And my mother, that was from my mother. And my mother's who I got my sense of family from, 100%. I never ever felt anything but, I mean, it sounds funny saying it as an adult because how would you feel different? But growing up, never felt different. Never felt anything but these are my cousins. A lot of people will ask me, have you ever looked for your birth parents? And I truthfully have never even thought about it for a second. I mean, I've never thought to actually do it,
Mm-hmm.
Never once for a second.
That family that your mother created with you,
Mm-hmm.
how has it shaped? Well, let's not use the word. How
Now go for it.
how has it changed? How have you used it in your connection and growth with your current family?
my mother always making me. My mother had two siblings, a brother and a sister, and we each one of the siblings had three kids. My parents were functioning alcoholics. My Auntie Irene and Uncle Richard, they always went out to eat. They always did their own thing. And my Aunt Doris and Uncle Rudy, who lived longer than any of them, would eat fish, chicken, vegetables, never smoked, never drank. So they were completely different. And my Aunt Irene's family, my Aunt Doris's family, the cousins, they would see each other once in a while, but my mother always made sure that we saw both sides of the family. So I remember that early on. And with my kids, I try to be the same way with my brother's family, even though he's in Maryland, and has been there 26 years. And my sister's 9 years older than me. I wanted to make sure they know the whole family, not just, because everyone's different. And well, my mother always made sure we knew our whole family. So to this day, I'm close with my Aunt Irene and Uncle Richard, two of my cousins. Both passed away from cancer in their 40s. And now my godfather just passed away a few months ago, but his daughter and stuff, I'm still very close with and stuff. I see the cousins all over the town and stuff, and I'm always stop and talk with them and whatnot. And I get that from my mother. And so my kids are the same way with my sister's two sons and my brother's son and daughter, even though they're 450, 500 miles away. They've always been close with them, especially my youngest daughter. My oldest daughter is 27. She's kind of, close with them, but not as much as my youngest because they're all around the same age.
So what are the values and practices are essential, or do you feel are essential for building strong and loving and supportive family?
Honestly, communication. I know to me, it sounds funny saying it now. I'm always talking with my daughters. Every single time my daughters get off the phone, we'll always say, I love you. All the time. Being present, like especially with my grandson, I'm very present, as did you know. I'm present, and I'm always, like I said, I'm always communicating with him. My daughter, Matt, my youngest daughter, is in nursing school right now, and she's in her second semester, which my wife, being a nurse, knew that this semester was pretty much, you're never going to see her. So I'll always still shoot her a text every once in a while, you know what I mean? Hey, you want to meet I can't, no problem. Just wanted to see how you're doing. So keeping in touch, being present in communication, I would say, and just always telling them that you love them.
Excellent.
That's my answer.
Tell us about family that is like lifelong friends instead of actually blood related family.
Well, it's funny because I was talking with Gary this morning, and I didn't want to look at too much. Kind of wanted to do it like we're doing, you know what I mean, off the cuff kind of. But I did look up a couple things. It says family consists of the people who support and love you and the people you confide in and trust. Well, I went to a memorial last night for my friend Dean's brother who had passed away. Since my kids were born, they was always Uncle Dean. My friend Joe, always Uncle Joe. And even Dean's nieces and nephews, who Dean was like the super uncle, always, making sure they have their sense of family and whatnot. And they were there, and I was talking with one of his daughters of the father had passed away, and my grandson was playing with one of their kids. And they're like, oh, look, another generation of cousins. And it's just, I have a lot of friends who I've known 40 years, four best friends. And it's just, I've always been involved with their family. They've always been involved with mine. And went through my divorce. I went to a therapist. One of the things that she thought that with my sense of family and how I am was because I was adopted. And I never really thought of it because I've always been part of my, it's never mentioned to me, because I was chosen. My mother was always afraid that I would go out and look for my blood parents. She was always afraid of that. And I told her I never would unless they found out I was an only child and they were loaded. But well, I mean, could have been Elon Musk's family. Who knows? But I sidetrack things a lot, so I apologize for that.
Yeah.
I think with the lifelong friends I've had, many lifelong friends and many friends like Gary, I never ever expected when I joined the post office the brotherhood ever. I would pick one thing from my job that has meant the most to me. It's absolutely the brotherhood that I've gotten out of it, and the lifelong friends that I've gotten out of it that I consider family. So I think being adopted, I have a better sense that family isn't just blood. Although now I think I was thinking about it today. I think with all the divorces and whatnot, I think yeah, people branch out where before it was more confined. I guess if that makes sense.
Sure. Number one, I agree with you on the brotherhood. It's funny when I was in the military, I have a few close friends that I made in the military, and to this day we are still tight. Same thing with the post office. I've got you and Wayne and Paul. Even Travis, the new guy Travis, he's been coming around a little bit and talking a lot.
Don't forget Mello.
And Mello, yeah, my bad, Mello. Yeah. So but everybody else, I could trip over them. I don't even know really sometimes.
I know.
So, but yeah, I feel like whenever you go into a job or something where you're there all the time, you create a family.
Yeah. And we talk about blood, and I think I said this to you, Gary. In this world, there's only 3 people that I am blood related to that I know: my daughters and my grandson. Being as social as I am, I've always talked with people and whatnot. So, but doing that, I've gotten so many lifelong relationships that I look at as family. You're one of them.
How do you use your family to help you become a better person?
How do I rely on my family to make me a better person?
Yes. Yeah, we can do it that way.
By being there for them, by them knowing. It's very important for me that I always say my 3 girls, my wife, my 2 daughters, my son-in-law, and my grandson, my core, I guess you'd say, and just by friends, letting them know that I'm there. My friend Dean, who I went to the memorial for his brother last night, said one time to me years ago, I think when I was going through my divorce, we were talking, and he says, your greatest quality is also your biggest flaw, and that's you would do anything for the people that you care for. And I've gotten better. I have gotten better. But I also expect the same. But by me being that person, I guess it's my sense of, he had used the word friends, but as you get older, you realize it's family. I always want to be there for the people I care about. No questions. I would drop anything and everything to be there for somebody who needed me. And always wanting to be that person, it's made me who I am, I guess, in a large part. That's who I am, and it drives me, I guess. That's the most important thing is to be there for the people I care about. I don't have all the answers a lot of times, but I'm always there to listen and stumble over my words.
So on that note, I feel like you don't always have to have the answer, and that's even with Rob and I, and the men's group that we're in, and everything. Like, I don't always have the answer, but I'm there to listen.
Right.
And by being there to listen and doing the best that I can do for my family or brothers in arms or whatever you want to call it, in turn, they're there for me. So just like you said that you would do anything for me, there's nothing I wouldn't do for you, sir.
And I know that. When my wife and I got married, we got married in our backyard. You big tent and all, So they set the tent up. This is about 4 days before, something like that. And my wife we had to set the tables up, all the chairs and everything. She goes, "Who's going to help you with that?" I said, "Your brother, my brother-in-law, my friend Rick, and Joe." And she goes, "Oh, thank God. That makes me feel so much better." When I didn't know you had talked to them yet, so I haven't. She goes, "Well, how do you know they're going to help you?" Because I know the relationship I have with every single one of them, and I know they'll help me. They know there's going to be stuff to be done. I don't have to ask. And to this day, I'll use that example. She goes, "You were just lucky that they weren't doing anything." I wasn't lucky. I knew because of the relationships I built with them that they would be there for me just as I would be there for them.
I really love what you just said, though. It's because of what you built with them. If you didn't build it with them, then they might not be there.
Right.
And I love that. Because you have to build the relationships.
You have to work at it. It's like my son. You have to be present. Mm-hmm. It's very important to me to be there for the people, for them to know that I'm somebody they can always count on. I mean, I can't fix anything. I can't put anything together. So forget that. But if anybody ever needs to talk or whatever, I'm the guy to call.
Cool beans. That was just the key elements that we were looking for. Actually, do you have any questions for us, Kevin?
So I wasn't prepared for that, Robert.
I'm pleading the fifth.
I don't care if you plead the fifth. where does family rate with you as far as up with you guys as far as the values?
Are you asking Rob or me? Both.
Oh,
I mean, I'm definitely a family guy. If you're asking me, like, where is it on my list of values? It's I'd say it's in the top five. But like you said, it's something that you have to build. So, but all of my family. So whether it's my blood family or the guys in the post office or the military guys I was with, or the guys in the men's group, it's all relationships that had to be built, and they are all very important to me. But it's a matter of being present and listening and doing what you can for those people.
you're talking about family stories that you were relying on, Rob. When I got divorced, I remember two things specifically. I guess one was immediate and one was long term. The immediate was I'm not going to be able to read stories to my kids at night. The long term was I scared, nervous, everything, I guess, of how am I going to have a relationship? What's my relationship going to be like with my kids when they get older? And I did tell you this story, Gary. When we just went to our timeshare beginning of October. My wife couldn't make it because we were there for the hurricane. We flew out a few days earlier. She couldn't make it, so it was just my daughter, my oldest daughter, my son-in-law, myself, and my grandson. And the day we got there, we were in Denny's having lunch. My grandson, being 3, decided it'd be great to take the lid off the shake and then drink it. Didn't work. Uh, so my son-in-law was in the bathroom changing him and stuff. My daughter was sitting next to me, and she put her arms around my arms and interlocked her fingers and leaned her head against me. And she goes, I just wanted to say I'm sorry and thank you. I'm like, for what? She goes, for everything I put you through when you and mom were getting divorced. She goes, I just want you to know I love you, and it's just I wanted to tell you that. And I was one of the moments in my life, and there's two others, confirmed what I knew, but that fear that I had didn't have to be there. I didn't have the answers, and I didn't know how divorce was going to go. As you know, Gary, I'm not sure with you. That moment made me realize that I honestly never had to worry about that. And it's because I was always present. I was always there for my kids. And Gary, I see what you do with your daughter and stuff, and I know the relationship you'll have when you get older now because my kids are older. But I was present and I was there. I never once, when my daughter said that to me, it was one of the moments of my life I will never forget. It was completely 100% unexpected. It was just it just happened.
Do you think it was the fear of not knowing that drove you to be present and closer?
I guess the honest answer would be I don't know. It could have been the fear that drove me, combined with just the love I have for my kids. When you're a kid, and I'm just thinking of this now, when you're a kid and somebody says, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be?
I was undecided between a firefighter or a baseball player.
Okay, I knew baseball player would be there.
I don't know. I don't remember. It's so long ago, to tell you the truth.
If somebody asked me back then, my answer would have been to have a family because because they adopted me, everything I have, and I've had that sense of family for probably forever, for as long as I can remember anyway. But I remember that. And it's funny you said, Robbie, you said you relied on the stories, you were out of questions. And as we're talking, I'm thinking, and I thought of that, and I remember that. I'm not coordinated enough to be a baseball player, thank God. Back in the day, I don't think I ever really talked to anybody about it, but I remember 100% thinking that. That's what I wanted because my mother gave me that. I see my daughter with my grandson. I do remember that from early on. It's funny because I'm as we're talking, I remembered that, and I don't really know if I've ever even told anybody.
Thank you for sharing. That was pretty powerful.
And that's the second time I've teared up listening to you talk. Both times were over the same story.
Which one? The one with my daughter in Florida?
Yes.
It's funny. I said there were 3 moments. It was that the night when I met my wife. We met on a blind date. Well, not a blind date. Well, we met Match.com. I forget, PerfectMatch.com, I think it was. And she was working second shift at the time. So, you want to meet at Denny's after work? So I'm going till 7. No, 8 o'clock. So we met. We were outside and we locked eyes. And it's the single most powerful feeling I've ever had in my life. So that was one. The one with my daughter. And then when my cat Riley passed away, this cat was... This is a man's best friend's a dog. This cat was we called her puppy cat because she was just like a dog. We're putting her down before they go to put the injector with the thing. She was on my lap, and I didn't know how I was going to be. And she turned her head and she looked up at me, and then she put her head on my lap. And that second gave me probably the biggest sense of peace I've ever had in my life. One of the things I read with pets, and pets are family, but those three moments.
Thank you for sharing that. Seriously.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That was beautiful. Yes.
Well, thank you. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you for letting us use it on our podcast. That's the other thing. So,
in summary, being family is a vital value as it provides support, connection, and a foundation for personal growth. It nurtures emotional well-being, teaches important life lessons, and fosters a sense of identity and belonging, enriching individuals' lives and their relationships with others.
if you would like to go further or deeper on this topic of family, reach out to us. We want to know you and hear your powerful story. Chat or connect with us by booking your free session on our website, northmancoaching.com. And folks, that's a wrap on today's episode. And of course, thank you all out there for listening. We're so glad you could join us today. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, Living by Oak Values. And if you feel generous, leave us a review. It really helps us out and keep these conversations going. For more updates and exclusive content, join our Facebook group, Northman Legacy Crew. Follow us on YouTube, TikTok, and visit our website, northmancoaching.com. We'll be back next week with another exciting episode that you don't want to miss. Until then, keep discussing your values, embrace the journey, take care, and stay authentic.